Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. The moment I saw Britt Westbourne looking so utterly defeated in captivity, I knew something was horribly wrong. But that changed everything. I genuinely wasn't expecting that. We have been dragged through the mud, crying our eyes out over Britt's tragic fate for what feels like an eternity, and now my brain is just short-circuiting. I am feeling a bizarre, overwhelming mix of absolute euphoria and blinding rage. You know that feeling when a show pulls the rug out from under you and you are just left gasping for air, trying to figure out which way is up? That is exactly me right now. I can't believe someone finally said that out loud on the show. Britt does not have Huntington's disease. Let that sink in for a second. Britt does not have Huntington's. We have spent years, literal years, mourning a woman who is still breathing, watching her say her agonizing goodbyes, and watching her give up on her future. To find out that it was all a sick, twisted lie, my mind is entirely blown. I am shaking just thinking about the sheer magnitude of this revelation. And let us talk about the catalyst for this massive bomb dropping on our heads. The arrival of Tristan Roberts. When Dean Geyer walked onto the screen to play this new character, I wasn't ready for that. I figured, okay, here is another handsome, talented doctor arriving in Port Charles. Maybe he will have a quick fling with someone at General Hospital, save a few lives, and fade into the background. But no, he is the one holding the keys to the biggest, darkest medical conspiracy we have seen in a decade. I am screaming at my television because this changes the entire fabric of Britt's legacy. Everything we thought we knew, everything that broke our hearts and made us weep for her, has just been flipped upside down. Tristan is not just a random doctor. He has a deep, dark connection to Britt's past. And more importantly, he has been working under the thumb of the devil himself, Ross Cullum. I am so overwhelmed with emotion that I barely know how to process the fact that this man holds Britt's entire reality in his hands. I need to explain why this particular twist hit me so incredibly hard. If you ask me, Britt's Huntington storyline was one of the most devastating, beautifully tragic arcs in the history of this show. I keep thinking about all those quiet, heartbreaking moments where Britt looked into the mirror, seeing a ticking clock over her own head, terrified of losing her mind and her motor functions. We watched her push people away, sabotage her own relationships, and refuse to let anyone love her fully because she didn't want to be a burden as she deteriorated. We watched her sacrifice her own happiness because she firmly believed she was living on borrowed time. The sheer psychological torture she endured, believing her brain and body were slowly turning against her. It was agonizing to watch. And now, to realize that every single tear she shed, every single moment of despair was manufactured by Ross Cullum, it is sickening. It shatters every expectation I had for how her story would end. The reason this completely breaks my brain is the absolute cruelty of the manipulation. We are used to villains in Port Charles doing terrible things, kidnappings, blackmail, the usual soap opera chaos. But medical gaslighting on this scale, convincing a brilliant, highly trained doctor like Britt Westbourne that her genetic time bomb had gone off just to control her, that is a level of psychological warfare that makes my stomach physically turn. When Tristan revealed that her fainting spells, her weakness, and her physical deterioration were just symptoms of Cullum's elaborate manipulation, I felt a physical ache in my chest. Britt has been held captive, brought back to Port Charles in absolute secrecy, and left to rot in a prison of her own mind. She genuinely believed she was dying. The sheer vulnerability of her situation, continuously fainting and waking up in captivity, thinking it was the disease finally claiming her, it is just too much to bear. Cullum didn't just steal her freedom. He stole her reality. I love this storyline, I really do. I love the sheer dramatic weight of Britt getting her life back. The idea that she can finally look forward to a future, that the death sentence has been magically commuted, fills my fan heart with so much joy. I want Britt to thrive. I want her to have the epic romance, the stellar medical career, and the pure happiness she was so cruelly denied for so long. The potential of her teaming up with Tristan to take down Cullum is giving me major adrenaline. I am so ready for the Britt to rise from the ashes and rain fire down on the man who tortured her. But something still bothers me. I have to admit, I am profoundly frustrated by the execution of this plot. It is a constant tug of war in my head. I am frustrated because we, the loyal audience, had to grieve alongside her. We invested so much emotional energy into her tragedy, and part of me feels like the writers are just hitting a massive undo button on years of character development. It feels a bit like emotional manipulation of the audience, not just of Britt. Furthermore, I am incredibly frustrated by Ross Cullum's apparent omnipotence. How on earth did he pull this off? How did he fake the lab results, the genetic markers, and the physical symptoms of a highly trained medical professional? It stretches my suspension of disbelief to its absolute breaking point. I am sitting here thinking, really? Cullum is somehow a master geneticist and psychological overlord now? It makes me angry that someone as smart and resourceful as Britt was fooled for so long. I want to celebrate her survival, but the frustration of how we got here is leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. One minute I am cheering for her second chance, and the next minute I am throwing my hands up at the absolute absurdity of Cullum's godlike control over her medical records. We need to talk about Tristan Roberts, because I have some serious judgments to pass, and I am not holding back. I understand why he finally broke down and told Britt the truth. He couldn't watch her suffer anymore. He saw this beautiful, brilliant woman giving up, preparing to die in a dark room, and his conscience finally woke up. But I still think that was a massive mistake to wait this long. Maybe I'm being unfair, but guys, he worked for Ross Cullum. He knew exactly what Cullum was doing to her. He was complicit in the torture. How do you stand by and watch a woman be mentally and physically destroyed by a fake terminal illness and only step in when she is at death's door? Tristan is being painted as the savior right now, the handsome hero who risks his own life to betray Cullum and give Britt the truth. And yes, I get the romantic appeal of the bad guy turned good by love trope. But if you ask me, Tristan has a mountain of red in his ledger to clear before I ever accept him. He is a brilliant doctor, allegedly, yet he used his medical oath to help a tyrant play God with a woman's life. I judge him harshly for that. I am not ready to just swoon over Dean Geyer's handsome face and forgive the fact that he was part of the machine that broke Britt. And what about Britt? I hate to say this, but I am judging her a little bit too. Not for being a victim, because what she went through is horrific, but for her total resignation. The Britt I know and love is a fierce fighter. The Britt would have demanded second, third, and fourth opinions. She would have burned down the lab to verify those results herself. Seeing her so passive, so completely broken by Cullum's captivity, is hard to digest. I know trauma does terrible things to a person, but I need the old Britt back immediately. This brings me to the absolute core of my internal struggle, and it is tearing me apart. Part of me wants to believe that Tristan is her true saving grace. Another part of me thinks he is just another layer of Cullum's manipulation. I honestly can't decide if I should be planning their wedding or screaming at Britt through the screen to run away from him as fast as she can. This is the fan conflict that is keeping me awake at night. If Tristan is genuine, if he truly is risking his life and putting a target on his own back because he fell in love with Britt's resilience, then this could be the most epic, sweeping romance General Hospital has given us in years. Two broken people trapped in a madman's web, deciding to burn the web down together. It is poetic. It is beautiful. But guys, I can't help feeling that we are being set up for another massive heartbreak. What if Tristan is only telling her she doesn't have Huntington's to gain her absolute trust? What if this is just Cullum's phase 2 of psychological torture? I am so traumatized by this show's constant twists that I can't even enjoy a supposedly happy revelation. I want to trust Tristan. I want Britt to look at him and see a partner, a protector, someone who will stand back to back with her against the world and help her heal. But my defensive walls are up so incredibly high. When he told her the truth, knowing it meant his own life would be threatened by Cullum, my heart fluttered. I won't lie. The chemistry between them is undeniable. They are bringing so much raw tension and desperate longing to these scenes. But can a relationship built on the shaky foundation of medical kidnapping and betrayal actually survive? I am desperately fighting my own cynicism here. I want the fairy tale for Britt, but the soap opera veteran inside me is screaming that Tristan will end up breaking her heart worse than the fake disease ever could. And this leads me to the explosive rumors floating around. About late July, we are hearing intense whispers that Ross Cullum might finally meet his maker, that his reign of terror will end in a brutal murder. And honestly, good riddance to bad rubbish. But it begs the ultimate question. Are Britt and Tristan going to be the ones to pull the trigger? Think about it. They have the ultimate motive. They have the means. They are fighting for their literal survival because Cullum will not let Tristan's betrayal go unpunished. If Cullum discovers that Tristan leaked the secret, both of their lives are forfeit. If Cullum dies, it ends the nightmare once and for all. But does it turn Britt into a cold-blooded killer? Does it bond her and Tristan in blood and secrets forever? I am obsessing over how this is going to play out. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of want Britt to be the one to end him. After everything he stole from her, her peace of mind, her years of happiness, her very sanity, she deserves to deliver the final blow. I want her to look Cullum in the eye and take back her power. But I need to know where you all stand on this chaotic mess. Am I the only one feeling this way? Am I the only one torn between loving Tristan for saving her from despair and hating him for his initial complicity in her torture? Guys, what do you think? Do you trust this new doctor? Or is he just another snake in the grass waiting to strike? Drop your thoughts, your anger, your wild theories in the comments below, because I am losing my mind over here and I desperately need to know I am not alone in this emotional roller coaster.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.